Hey guys, I'm Saurav. Welcome to the channel. Today in this video, we are talking about iPhone camera settings that you must change as soon as possible. This is going to be super helpful for all the iPhone users out there, whether you're shooting photos or videos or both. So without wasting any time, let's get started. Number 1, preserving settings. When you open your iPhone camera app, the settings are reset to default after a point of time, and this can slow down your workflow. As a photographer, I love shooting in RAW. I just have to click here and I can shoot in RAW. The problem is, when I open my camera app after some time, the RAW option gets turned off automatically. And sometimes you might forget to turn it on. When you're using a traditional camera, the settings don't reset automatically. And I want my iPhone to behave in the exact same manner. For that, go to Settings, Camera, Preserve Settings, and now turn the Apple Pro RAW option on. Now shooting in RAW is just an example. There are a lot of different options here. The first one is camera mode. Suppose you're shooting a sequence of video. You shot one video, you closed your camera app, and now after some time you want to shoot another video. The iPhone might reset the camera back to photo mode, and again, as I said, this might slow down your workflow. For that, you just have to turn on the camera mode, and whether you're shooting video, whether you're shooting panoramas or slow motion, it will reset to that particular mode. Not reset, it will be set to that particular mode. You have creative controls, macro control, which I'll talk later in the video. Personally, I keep camera mode, portrait zoom that preserves the lens selection for portrait shots, and Apple Pro RAW turned on. Next is turning on PAL. For video recording, you have 3 options in 4K, 24, 30 and 60 FPS. What if you want to shoot in 25 FPS? Simple. Just click on Show PAL Formats and now you have the option. People who are living in Europe, Africa, Asia, South America use PAL. What is PAL? It is short form for Phase Alternating Line. I know the full form doesn't explain much, but don't worry, that's why I'm here, right? Basically, in the areas where the electrical frequency is 50 Hz, people use 25 FPS to avoid flickering. I won't go into much of the technical details, just remember that if you're shooting where the light frequency is 50 Hz, shoot in 25 FPS to avoid flickering. If you're staying in areas where the frequency is 60 Hz, you can shoot in 30 or 60 FPS and you don't have to worry about the flickering. The next one is macro control. This is especially for iPhone 13 Pro models. You have a dedicated macro lens, and as soon as you go closer to a subject, iPhone automatically switches to the macro lens. Now this is a great feature. I'm happy Apple included the macro lens in the iPhone, but the quality, that's not as good as the standard lens. The standard lens offers much better low light performance and better bokeh because of the wider aperture. The macro lens is great when you get too close and the standard lens is not able to focus anymore. But the problem with how they have implemented this feature is, it switches to the macro lens even if you are at a distance where the standard lens is able to focus. And if given a choice, I would definitely choose the look of the standard lens because of the better image quality. The good news is, there's a fix for this issue. Go to Settings, Camera and turn on Macro Control. Now, when you get closer to the subject, and iPhone automatically switches to the macro lens, just click here and it will toggle back to the standard lens. The next one is FPS for slow motion. iPhones can shoot slow motion in 120 and 240 FPS. Higher the FPS, slower will be the final outcome. So naturally, you might think that 240 FPS is slower than 120 FPS, so that's always a better option. Well, there's a problem with that. 240 FPS is great, but you should only use this option when you have plenty of light available. Shooting at higher FPS means using a faster shutter speed. When you're using a faster shutter speed, the amount of light reduces and therefore the camera has to increase the ISO to compensate for the exposure. If the amount of light available is not enough, I would not recommend to shoot in 240 FPS. The quality difference is not just worth it. 120 FPS looks way cleaner than 240 FPS. Moral of the story, when shooting slow motion videos, decide your FPS depending on the amount of light available. Next one is turning off HDR video. HDR video is a great feature. I absolutely love it. The videos have amazing dynamic range, one of the best I've seen in smartphones. But there is a catch to it. HDR videos look great on iPhones because iPhone display supports HDR content. If you upload the same video, let's say on Instagram, you will realize that the video doesn't look as good as it used to in the iPhone. Why is that? Because the video now is being converted from high dynamic range HDR to standard dynamic range SDR. If you don't have a display that supports HDR, there is no point in shooting in HDR. This video, for example, is not shot and edited in HDR. So when I bring the HDR video into my timeline, I have to adjust the exposure values so that it doesn't look overexposed. Then I have to adjust the contrast to make it look good. When I export the video, still it's not as good looking as the original HDR video. The point is, shoot in HDR only if you're going to consume that content in HDR. YouTube allows you to upload videos in HDR, but that doesn't mean your audience will have an HDR display to take advantage of it. My recommendation is turn off the HDR video feature. SDR videos are easier to work with, they look pretty good, and you also save a bit of space. The last one for today is customizing photographic styles. Photographic styles is a feature that was released with the iPhone 13 lineup. When I heard about this feature, I thought it's just a gimmick, but I was wrong. It's more than a gimmick. If I use rich contrast, obviously the contrast increases and this feels natural. It doesn't look over-processed to me. The good thing is, you're able to see the final result live while capturing the image, compared to capturing the image and then increasing the contrast in post. You have 4 inbuilt presets: rich contrast, vibrant, warm, and cool. And these are totally customizable. Meaning, I want more contrast, I will go to rich contrast. But according to me, this is too much. I can click here on tone and adjust the dial according to my liking. I can change the warmth as well. But since I made it warmer, the name of the style changes to rich warm. Small feature but nicely implemented. Nice attention to details. If you feel like resetting the styles, you can see this dot which will take it back to the original setting. So use photographic styles, but make sure you customize it. I often use it for posting stories on Instagram, right? I just have to customize the tone and warmth and I don't have to spend time on editing. The photos straight out of the camera looks pretty good. That's it from this video, guys. I hope you found this video helpful. As usual, if you did, press the like button, subscribe to my channel if you're new to the channel and you want more such content, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.